Hi everybody, my name is Ranger Catherine. I'm here at San Pedro Valley Park today. We're going to start reading with the ranger in a couple minutes, but first I wanted to let you guys enjoy the beautiful sounds of the creek here at San Pedro Valley Park. Alright, so I'm going to get us all set up here. Hi everyone, I'm Ranger Catherine. I'm coming to you live from San Pedro Valley Park in Pacifica, and today our theme is nature advocacy. So for all of you out there who might not know what advocacy is or being an advocate, it's to speak for someone or something that can't speak for themselves, to speak in support of that. And so today we're talking about advocacy for nature. So today we can see the beautiful trees behind me here. We saw the creek just a minute ago, and these are things that can't speak for themselves, so we want to be there to make sure that we can speak for them so that they have a right to be here. So to start, I'm going to read one of my favorite books from childhood. It's called The Lorax, and it's written and illustrated by Dr. Seuss and published by Random House. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of town where the grickle grass grows. The old onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope, he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents in a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather's snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count, to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snuvy, his secret strange hole in his grubbulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-mophone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Sloop! Down sloops the whisper-mophone to your ear, and the old onceler's whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean, and the song of the Swami swans rang out in space. One morning I came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees. The bright colored tufts of the truffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits as they played in the shade and ate truffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees, all my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I heard a gazoop. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, What's that thing you've made out of my truffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed. A thneed's a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yes, far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, or bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong. For just at that minute, a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great. He happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You can never tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room, and in no time at all, I built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I called all my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch, turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked off 4 truffula trees at one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the very next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating truffula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know? I meant no harm, I most truly did not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory, I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons, I biggered the loads. Of the needs I shipped out, I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went right on biggering, selling more needs, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed, and he whiffed. He sneezed and he snuffled, he snargled and sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a crufulous croak, "Onceler, you're making such smogulous smoke. My poor swami swans, well, they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough. They can't live here, so I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog that you've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about gluppity glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, with making gluppity glup, also schloppity schlop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." "You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off, oh their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary, in search of some water that isn't so smeary." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yap, yap, and say bad, 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 bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffula trees into needs which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside in the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffula tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts, everyone, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggered stars. Now all that was left neath the bad-smelling sky was my big, empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without leaving a trace. And all that the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with the one word, unless. Whatever that meant. Well, I just couldn't guess. Sorry, I know it's backwards. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day I've sat here and worried away. Through the years, while my buildings have fallen apart, I've worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So, catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a truffula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the truffula seeds, and truffula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water and feed it fresh air, grow a forest, protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Little seed. The end. That's one of my favorite books from my childhood, and definitely influenced me into wanting to become a ranger when I was older. I wanted to speak for the trees. Let's see who's watching here with us today. Yes, Karen, one of my favorite sounds is definitely the sound of creek water running too. And hi, Michael. It's good to see you there. I know we can't do Take a Hike right now, but this is our alternative until things get better with COVID. And David, yeah, it's a beautiful day here at San Pedro Valley Park, so if you make your way out to Pacifica today, I highly recommend it. And thank you, Jan. I really find this as a highlight of my week as well, to get to read stories with you all. So next, I'm gonna sing you a song. It's one of my favorite songs from my childhood as well. And I want to put it out there that this is owned by Disney. I do not claim any rights to this song, so this is Colors of the Wind from the movie Pocahontas. Has a spirit, has a name. to the birds that are helping me sing that song above. So once again, if you're just joining us now, thank you everybody. It's one of my favorite songs from a Disney movie. If you're just joining us now, our theme today is nature advocacy, and we just read the Lorax, which is all about how nature has value more than just in what you can do with it. So it has value, intrinsic value, so it just has value in just being what it is. We saw the creek earlier, and I'll probably show the creek a little bit later when we finish this next book. And then we've been listening to the beautiful birds behind us and seeing all these trees around us, and we know that all these things have intrinsic value that is just natural to this world. And this next book is all about what we can do to help be an advocate for this nature. The first book, the Lorax himself was an advocate because he spoke for the trees. He spoke for the Swami swans and the humming fish, things that couldn't speak for themselves. This next book is about actions that you can take to help nature and be an advocate that way. This book is called Not For Me, Please, I Choose to Act Green. And it's written by Maria Godsey, illustrated by Christoph J. Kellner. There once was a day when I didn't act green, a time when I thought things would always stay clean. I didn't think twice of the choices I made, the impact they had or the damage that stayed. My actions were based on the ease brought to me, which, with never much thought, to our air, land, or sea. But my thoughts around this changed in a flash when I noticed the damage caused by our trash. The sight of it caused a reaction in me, and all I could say was, not for me, please. Look at all that trash. I could not continue to live as I did. Surely I could help out, because I'm a strong kid. You too can help out with this phrase that I found. Just say, not for me, please, and stand your own ground. It may take some practice, but I'll show you how and why it's important for us to act now. Let's look at a straw that comes with a shake. Now imagine the trip this straw will soon take. Most often our straws are made out of plastic, and after one use, they're thrown in a basket. From the basket they head to the dump or the sea and become something known as marine debris. So there's that straw going in the trash can and eventually out into the ocean. Our oceans are filled with all sorts of stuff that hurt our sea creatures and make their lives rough. Poor turtles and fish mistake trash for their meal. Imagine the pain that their tummies must feel. Or worse, they get tangled in our careless muck. Around fins, heads, and legs, they're nothing but stuck. That poor turtle is stuck. This one little straw is not worth the high cost. Why use things that harm or cause a great loss? Here's what I'd say, not for me, please, when asked. I don't need a straw that'll simply be trashed. We all have a choice. Let's do our small part to refuse to cause harm and decide to act smart. Just think through your actions and the cause and effect of waste and pollution and careless neglect. Let's choose to recycle, reduce, and reuse, and with my strong phrase, there's no way we lose. Here are some examples to show what I mean and how you can join me and begin to act green. Those are the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Do you see all this trash scattered around? Why would anyone throw their stuff on the ground? Not for me, please, is what I choose to say, and pick up the litter and throw it away. I choose to be mindful and sort through my trash, recycling things like plastic or glass. These can be turned into something brand new, like clothing, park benches, or even a shoe. Look at these lights that someone left on in the room that is empty with everyone gone. The same for computers, games, and TVs. Why keep these things on for no one to see? Not for me, please. I use what I need and power things off whenever I leave. I know it's easy for one to forget, but do it enough and a habit you'll set. Do you see this faucet and the water that flows? How much has been wasted? It's so hard to know. Just running the water when it's not in use is careless and wasteful. There's just no excuse. Not for me, please. I avoid wasteful drips while brushing or cleaning my small fingertips. We're lucky to have clean water to drink, not the kind that is harmful, dirty, or stinks. Do you bring food to school that's packed in your home? After your lunch, how much trash has been thrown? From plastic baggies to small boxes of juice, it's scary the trash just one meal can produce. Not for me, please. I watch what I bring. Use food containers and avoid plastic things. I bring my own bottle, I wash and reuse. No need to contribute to plastic abuse. Even while shopping, I see so much waste. Plastic grocery bags found all over the place. And why are there so many things plastic wrapped? Most of this plastic will only be scrapped. Not for me, please. I've had enough. I use my cloth bags when I pick up my stuff. I also take care of what goes in my cart. Choose less packaging, and plastic is smart. Have you been on a picnic when the sky was bright blue? Do you remember the cups, plates, and forks that you used? They were probably plastic and used only once, but decomposing takes years, not just a few months. Not for me, please. I'll join the band against single-use plastic because I'm not a fan. All that I need can come from my home. Let's avoid needless buys and reuse what we own. Our world is connected with resources shared. We must all pitch in and give nature our care. Let's pass on these things that don't make much sense or benefit us at our planet's expense. The options are endless if you make the right choice. Think the 3 R's and use your strong voice. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Those are the 3 R's. So how will you choose next time when you're out? Will you think differently and take a new route? You are free to borrow my little phrase and say, "Not for me, please," in all of your days. And this book is pretty cool. It has a lot of information on the bottom of each page referring to different statistics about plastic use and other things regarding to all the topics that this kid brought up in this book. But that was Not For Me, Please, I Choose to Act Green, written by Maria Godsey and illustrated by Christoph J. Kellner. So what we've learned today about nature advocacy is that everyone can do it. You can use your voice to speak up for the plants and the animals and nature in general. You can speak with your actions. So I know that right now grocery stores aren't allowing reusable bags, but once that happens again, once we're out of this COVID crisis and you can bring your reusable bags back to the stores, I encourage you to do so. I do that as well. Be sure to bring your own silverware, your plates, your forks and spoons when you're eating your lunch, and not and use them again, wash them, and not use single-use plastics, because that just, like mentioned in the book, it just goes into the landfill or unfortunately might go out to the ocean. So think through all the things that you can do to be an advocate for nature. And there's many things that you can be an advocate for, and anything that you see wrong and you want to speak up against it, that you can do that and you can support different things. So please do that. And I'm going to end our, unless anyone has any questions, I'm going to end our Facebook Live today by going back to the creek and showing you all the beautiful San Pedro Creek here at San Pedro Valley Park. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. It's nice to have people on the call. And nice to see you back, Maricela and Myrna. Thank you all for joining me today. And I hope you come visit San Pedro Valley Park if you get a chance. It's a beautiful place. All right, thank you everyone. Have a beautiful Saturday.